contain a subject and a verb. A clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a verb and is used as part of a sentence or can be used as a sentence all by itself. Okay, so just based on that, can you tell is number one a phrase or a clause? Well, I can see that in is a preposition. So I say in what room, object of the preposition. So number one is a phrase. It's a prepositional phrase. Okay, number two, I see cat is the subject, and I see that the cat went is the verb. And it is a complete thought, so that's a clause. Okay, number three, until is a preposition. Until what? Weak, object of the preposition. That's a prepositional phrase. So that's a phrase. Okay, number four, quickly is not a preposition. So now I look to see if there's a subject and a verb. Well, I see an action, but I don't see who's walking. So it can't be a clause because I don't have both a subject and a verb. So we need to label number four as a phrase. And then number five, I see that they is the subject noun. They tried, verb. Yet they tried is a complete thought, so that's a clause because there is a subject and a verb and a complete thought. Okay, there are two types of clauses, so you have two boxes that you'll fill in. Okay, number one, there's a dependent clause, and another word for a dependent clause is a subordinate clause. Okay, it has a subject that's doing an action, so a subject and a verb. It begins with a subordinate conjunction, and it cannot make a complete sentence by itself. Okay, so you'll notice I have the subordinate conjunctions listed for you, and they begin the dependent clause. Okay, so looking at the example, you see it begins with even though, which is in the list above. Okay, there is a subject and a verb, but even though I walked away, that's not a complete thought. Okay, that is a clause, and it's a subordinate clause because that's not a complete thought. Okay, number two, independent clause or a complete sentence. You'll hear the words independent clause in a college class. Okay, there is a subject, a verb, a complete thought, a capital letter, and an end mark. It's just a sentence. So independent clause is just another word for a complete sentence. Okay, so now you should decide, is this a phrase or an independent or dependent clause? You'll pause the video and complete the practice 1 through 20. Okay, number one I did for you. Over, I know that it's a preposition. Over what? Head, object of the preposition. So number one is a phrase. Okay, now you do 2 through 20. Okay, the most important part for me is part 3, the ACT application for phrases and clauses. You have to know the building blocks before you can apply this to proofreading the paragraph in the English section. So you'll take notes in the box on your classwork sheet. Okay, number one, anytime a sentence begins with a dependent or a subordinate clause or a prepositional phrase, it must be followed by a comma. For example, even though I was tired, comma, Jenny convinced me to go to the strawberry festival. So you'll notice even though I was tired is dependent. It depends on the rest of the sentence to make sense. Okay, so you put a comma after it. In the library, comma, that's a prepositional phrase, she found the book she needed. But, number 2, if you reverse the order of the sentence, you don't usually need the comma. Okay, so for example, notice I just turned the sentence around. Jenny convinced me to go to the strawberry festival even though I was tired. There's no comma. She found the book she needed in the library. No comma. And then number 3, you've seen this before because we've already talked about separating complete sentences. Well, now we use the big college word, independent clauses. You'll separate independent clauses with a semicolon, a comma plus a fanboys, or number 3, a semicolon plus a conjunctive adverb plus a comma. Okay, so now I want you to do 1 through 5 and apply those rules to these examples from an ACT practice test. Okay, locate your packet in your folder for Thursday, August 22nd. Okay, last week you learned about the goals for this unit, including how you will be assessed, and you practiced summarizing a literary text, which was from The Great Gatsby. Today you'll reread the same exact excerpt from Chapter 9, and you'll analyze how the theme of the American dream is presented in the text. Okay, before you do, I've had a couple of you say, I don't even know what that means. What is the American dream? Okay, this is a little short video just to give you a current, updated view of the American dream. Okay, and now what you'll do is you'll click on the video and watch this TED Talk by Kevin Maggiacomo. And what I want you to do is to think about how the video presents the idea of the American dream. And you'll notice that there are questions that you should answer as you listen to the video. Okay, so now you'll silently reread the excerpt from Chapter 9 of The Great Gatsby. Okay, and this is the same exact one you read the other day with your partner when the narrator goes over to his neighbor's house and is thinking. In the right margin, you'll annotate where the text refers to dreams or goals. And by annotate, I mean add notes, give an explanation, or make a comment. But keep in mind you're looking for where the text refers to dreams or goals. Okay, so the first one I helped you with. It's right here. I became aware of the old island here that flowered once for Dutch sailors' eyes, a fresh green breast of the new world. So to annotate, you would add an explanation, a comment. Okay, you're looking for places where this text refers to dreams or goals. Okay, as you finish the rest, as you read the rest, you're looking for 5 more places where dreams or goals are discussed. And you'll annotate in the right margin. Okay, for section D, how is the American dream explained in this text? How does the text connect the past and the present to the American dream? Include evidence from the text to support your answer. So yes, this means you should write a well-developed paragraph. It should include keywords. For example, in the text, the author states, or the narrator says. When you finish, you can put your classwork sheet on my desk and put your folder